After I bought my Legion Go 2, I put all my other devices away, and for the last month I've been using it at home, taking it out into the real world, and trying a few different accessories. I wanted to see if this could really be my main computer. Working on this video made me think about how I use different devices. Because of the detachable controllers, the Legion Go 2 fits into some situations better than my other handhelds. But as I used it more, I did find one issue I really wish Microsoft would change. I downloaded several streaming apps, but when I go into the My Apps section of the Xbox full screen experience, I couldn't find any way to install any of them, which meant I had to switch to desktop mode just to watch a video. I know Xbox full screen was designed for gaming, but it'd be really convenient if I could just install my favorite apps and not have to go into desktop mode. Despite the extra steps, I was eventually able to get to the videos I wanted to watch. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been trying out these SteelSeries Arctic earbuds. I was really attracted to the transparent design, and once I saw the orange color, I was definitely going to buy them. They can connect over Bluetooth, but I mostly use the USB-C dongle. There's also an app with different game profiles you can use, or you can make custom ones for yourself. They put out really good sound. I enjoyed using them when I was playing Arc Raiders, where it's really important to pay attention to the noises in the background. And even though they were designed for gaming, I was still able to use them with my iPhone. I did have to download the app and change the EQ settings in order to get the sound where I wanted it. Also, at one point, I noticed a faint hiss when noise control was on, but it wasn't loud enough to be distracting while I was listening to music or watching a video. These earbuds came in handy several times. With the Legion Go 2, no matter where I go, I have access to my entire gaming library. To try and maximize battery life, I switched my thermal mode to balanced, set the fan to smart, and changed the OS power mode to efficiency. I played a mix of games. I started with Megabonk and Absalom. These are lighter titles that I knew wouldn't tax the battery. But by the end, I was even playing Doom the Dark Ages, and it handled it just fine with the settings I was using. The 8.8-inch screen is big enough for me to get simple productivity tasks done. I used it to update my script, check my emails, and of course, check my YouTube stats for the 1000th time. For anything that needed an internet connection, I just used my phone's mobile hotspot. But for me to use it as a portable computer, I really wanted to find the right productivity setup. I tried a few, and I definitely found one I prefer over the others. I was really excited to try out this 3D printed keyboard case. I love the idea of being able to turn my Legion Go 2 into a tiny laptop. It connects to it using Bluetooth and charges over USB-C. It attaches using the controller ports, so I had to take off the controllers in order to use it. It doesn't come with a trackpad, which means in order to navigate the UI, I had to use the screen, the trackpad on the right controller, or attach a mouse. The keys in their layout were smaller, so when I first started using it, I was making more typing mistakes than normal. But if my only goal was to carry the Legion Go 2 as a laptop, I could definitely see myself using this on a regular basis. I'd probably still carry a small mouse though. Now I did find this other 3D printed keyboard case. You don't have to take off the controllers to use it. It just snaps onto the main body. It has an open back so you can still use the kickstand. It doesn't come with a keyboard. I had to purchase that separately, but this one I found on Amazon comes with a trackpad. It also connects via Bluetooth, charges via USB-C, and it even comes with RGB lighting. The keys are about the same size as the other 3D printed keyboard case and provides the same typing experience. The part that goes around the main body is thick enough to provide some protection for it, but it did interfere with me using the fingerprint sensor embedded in the power button. Also, the magnets that hold it closed aren't that strong, but it does have one feature which I think is really useful. The keyboard portion of it is detachable. It's held on by magnets, and there's a small tab that slides into place. This feature lets me remove the keyboard, but keeps some protection on the most important part of the Go 2. After having used both of these, I definitely prefer a system where I don't have to remove the controllers. The iClever folding keyboard is the smallest of the setups I tried. It has a trackpad with physical left and right mouse click buttons. I prefer this over the ones with the built-in click areas. I can connect up to 3 devices to it. The key layout brings everything closer together, so I sometimes hit the wrong ones by accident. For example, when I tried to press the backspace button, I would accidentally press the button to switch between devices. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I could get used to this with practice. But if portability was my main priority, this would definitely be my choice. I bought this case for my original Legion Go, and it just barely fits the Legion Go 2. But the iClever is small enough that I can still fit both into the case if I wanted to. The ProtoArc folding keyboard comes with a mouse. It's bigger and less convenient to travel with. but it's easily the most comfortable to type and work on. It's essentially a folded full-size keyboard. The mouse is big enough so I don't feel as if I'm sacrificing comfort in order to use it. I was impressed that they were able to fit a USB dongle in the bottom of it, and I can connect the mouse and keyboard to up to 2 devices. Now, using this setup meant I had to carry 2 additional things with me, but I was more than willing to do it for the more comfortable experience. Of the different systems I tried, I found my favorite to use was the ProtoArc, because I didn't have to change anything about the Legion Go 2 in order to use it. I just unfolded it, turned on the mouse, and I was good to go. In terms of battery life, on one of my trips I started at around 9:30 a.m. with about 89%. With the settings I was using, when I reached my destination at 11:38, my battery was down to 59%. Now, this also includes the time I spent switching keyboards and adjusting my camera. The Legion Go 2 lets me play my favorite games wherever I can. I brought it to one of my favorite outdoor eating spots, and while I was waiting for my food, I had a little time to get some gaming in. But taking it outside makes me feel obligated to provide some type of protection for it. I bought this tempered glass screen protector directly from Lenovo. It's an HD clear glass, and once it was on, I barely noticed it. But it made me feel better knowing I had something covering the screen. For the rest of the device, I went with the silicone case. It's easy to install, covers most of the back and the controllers, and it still lets me use the kickstand. It has all the appropriate cutouts. There's a little texture along parts of the grip. It's thick enough to provide a little protection, but the fingerprint scanner is still easy to use, and I can still plug in the USB dongle for my earbuds. It also makes it slightly more comfortable to hold. However, you do have to take it off in order to remove the controllers. And honestly, it doesn't completely get rid of the fear of dropping it, so I'm still conscious of how I hold it. If the Legion Go 2 is going to be my main computer, it has to be able to run my YouTube channel. I tried using it to edit this video, but not everything worked out as smoothly as I hoped. My editing setup runs through a CalDigit TS4 dock. It includes dual monitors, a microphone, and the drive I edit from. They all connect to the Legion Go 2 through a single Thunderbolt 4 cable, which is nice because it also keeps the Legion Go 2 charged. My Bluetooth mouse and keyboard can connect to up to 3 devices. I tried editing with Adobe Premiere Pro. I set my thermal mode to performance, my fan to smart, and my OS power mode to performance. At first, the Legion Go 2 seemed to be handling it, but as I added more and more video, voiceover, and graphics, it started to become really inconsistent, and I can hear the fan throttling up on a regular basis. It eventually got to the point where I got frustrated, and I moved back to my M4 Pro Mac Mini to finish my editing. The Go 2 is great for lighter creative work. Every other productivity app I use on a regular basis performs the same way as it would on a standard desktop. I wanted to see if I could wirelessly transfer photos and videos from my iPhone. That way I could quickly drop it into a video project. To move files from my iPhone to my Mac is really easy. I just use AirDrop. I tried using Microsoft's Phone Link app. It allows you to read and respond to text messages you get on your phone, as well as stay on top of your notifications. And it's supposed to be compatible across operating systems. I tried sending a couple of photos and videos, and it did work, but it's definitely not as seamless as airdropping between Apple devices. And it was a little slow, so I probably wouldn't use it to transfer large video files. The best part about using a handheld as a desktop is that when I'm ready to game, I switch back to Xbox full screen mode and my entire library is right there. And I can still use the Legion Go 2 controllers using this adapter from Lenovo. The changes that they made to the controller ergonomics make this setup really comfortable. It separates and angles the controllers in a way that's natural to my hand. When my index fingers move from the bottom to the top triggers, they line up just the way I want them to. My thumbs also line up comfortably with the 2 joysticks. The adapter comes with a USB-C port, so I can keep the controllers charged even when they're separated from the main body. This setup is comfortable enough that I could see myself using this as my only controller, but I also tried using this GameSir controller. It worked well enough, but there was one small issue. There was nothing wrong with the controller. The design worked really well for me. It has good ergonomics. The grips have this rubber texture to them, which makes the controller really comfortable to hold. The joysticks don't have the amount of tension that I want, but they are TMR, so they should last a while. The back buttons sit flush with the back of the controllers. I prefer these over the ones that stick out. And you can lock the bottom triggers. The Xbox controls work just the way they should. When I tapped the Xbox button, it brought up the quick menu. Holding it down allowed me to switch between apps. There's also software that allows you to customize button layouts, adjust stick and trigger sensitivity, and create custom profiles. The one issue I had was game compatibility, but it wasn't with this controller. I was able to play most of my favorite games. Marvel Rivals, Doom the Dark Ages, Madden, all worked fine. I bought those from Steam. I was also able to play Fortnite from Epic Games. But the one game I had problems with is Call of Duty, which is pretty much my go-to game, but I'm not sure why, but I always have problems connecting a controller with this one. I was eventually able to get the GameSir to work with Call of Duty. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not exactly sure what I did, but one of the steps I took was to separate the Legion Go 2 controllers, which to me kind of defeats the purpose. Eventually, I do get tired of being in my office, and I just want to go somewhere more comfortable to play my games. With this JSOX dock, I was able to move my Legion Go 2 to any of the other rooms in my house and connect it to one of my televisions. I was really impressed by how small it was. It has 2 USB-A ports, an HDMI, and an Ethernet port, and it can run up to 4K at 120 Hz. Now, I don't have a TV that actually runs at 4K and 120 Hz, but I appreciate that this dock supports it. Being able to move my entire game library from my office to my bedroom really reinforces the versatility of the Legion Go 2 for me. Now, I don't think it's as good as a dedicated console, and after a month of using it, I also don't think it's a perfect tablet, or a laptop, or desktop either, but it works well enough in each of those roles that I feel comfortable relying on it if I needed to. And the fact that at the end of the day, I can just lay in my bed and play my favorite games is what makes living with a handheld gaming PC so much fun.